Good afternoon, boys and girls. So today we are going to be conducting an exciting experiment on density. So what you will need for this experiment is 2 glasses of water, both about the equal amounts, 2 raw eggs, some extra water and some salt, and a spoon to mix the salt into the glass. So what we're going to do is we are going to be figuring out, and we want to determine what will happen when we put 2 raw eggs into these glasses. One glass will have no salt, and in the other one, we will be putting a couple of tablespoons of salt, stirring it, and then adding the egg. So, just think to yourself while you're at your desk, what do you think is going to happen when I put the egg into the glass of water with no salt? Do you think it'll sink? Maybe it'll go to the middle, or will it float to the top? Also, when I add salt to the second glass, what do you think will happen to the egg? Do you think it will sink, float to the middle, or rise to the top? So, we are going to place the first egg into the glass of water with no salt, gently placing it that way the egg does not break. So we drop it in, and as we can see, the egg sinks to the bottom. Now we will take the second glass. We are going to put some salt into it. Here's 1 tablespoon and a second tablespoon. Now mixing it. That way the salt dissolves. Maybe we'll just add 1 more to ensure that the experiment is successful. Mixing it all together. Okay. Now we're just going to fill the glass just a little bit more with water. Okay. So this is what your water with salt will look like. Now we're going to place the egg gently into the glass and we'll see what happens. Now, the water isn't clear yet, but if we bring it in close to the camera, well, let's give it a little bit so that the salt can just settle. But from what I can see is that the egg is floating to the top. Let me just bring the camera down so you can take a look. See the egg? There it is. Now, here is the glass with no salt, and here is the glass with salt. Now we can see, there is the egg. I think that's a better way to see it. It's floating, and it's almost at the top. Now, all we did was add salt to the water. And how in the world does the second egg float? So the way that this works is that the first egg sinks to the bottom of the glass with the regular tap water. This is because a raw egg has greater density than regular tap water. Essentially, the egg has more matter stuffed into a specific area, so the volume inside the egg, than the same amount of water. When we add the salts to the water, we increase the density, making it heavier. This is to say that the salt packs into the same volume of water. With enough salt added to the water, the density of the water is greater than the egg, allowing the egg to float. So as you can see, just by adding a little bit of salt, it increases the density of the water, making the water heavier than the egg. That's why the egg rises to the top with the salt water. When we have the water with no salt, the egg is heavier, so it sinks to the bottom. So now we will continue our lesson based on our experiment.